Hey, what's going on, people? So, nice surprise indie direct from Nintendo earlier today with some noteworthy titles for me, like Wonder Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, which 2D wise looks absolutely stunning, and I love that animated intro. You got the Garden Between, which looks lovely. I think that was shown before, maybe on the PS4, but this is the first time I've really seen it, so yep, that looks nice. Bad North is out today, and I've liked the look of that ever since I first saw it. Like I said, a game that grabbed my attention when it was first shown off, so yeah, that looks cool. Moonlighter also looks great, I feel, but then, as a Zelda fan, it's obvious why. But another game was Terraria, which was a no-brainer for the Switch, and my daughter is a fan of Minecraft, and I got her to play Terraria on the PC recently, so a Switch version will most likely be bought in my house. But the most noteworthy game for me was Everspace, which looks stunning, and I've been eyeing it up for a while on PC, so a Switch version again will most likely be bought. Between Everspace and Starlink, my need for outer space combat should be covered, at least on the Nintendo Switch and any platform I pretty much care about playing on right now. And I understand Gamescom is starting very soon as well, so there's going to be lots of news coming along, so I'll see what gets revealed and decide whether to cover it or not. But anyway, as you can see by the title and thumbnail, I'm not here to talk about the recent Nintendo Direct, but more about a recent story from the developer of Velocity 2X, a game which you're seeing on the screen now, and how they've ran into trouble with creating a sequel and getting it published. Now, I'm not going to have a direct overall opinion here, as it's a type of story that has many angles. So I'm going to give some of my thoughts and views. Most of all, I'd like to know what you all think about this story and its subject matter, as it doesn't just concern this game. But anyway, let's get started. To break the story down quickly, it appears that the developer of Velocity 2X, called FutureLab, have seemingly been flat out turned down by Sony, who won't publish a sequel to this game because the game's sales themselves were poor, to the point where the developer said pretty much bombed on both the PlayStation 4 and PS Vita. Now, the main meat of this is because this game was once part of PlayStation Plus, a service, as most of us know, offers free, and I say that with quotations, offers free games as part of your subscription, which in turn allows you to play multiplayer games online with your PS4, as well as receive additional offers on other games on Sony's storefront. So what I'd like to discuss here is the impact of games appearing on PlayStation Plus, as well as a little bit on games appearing in sales on these platforms and how it might and can affect developers with their future and current software. Like I said, I have no direct opinion on this, so this isn't a debate or me pointing fingers, but just me trying to work out what might cause issues or prove a benefit to developers who put their games onto these platforms and services. Now, logically in my mind, Sony must be in some way paying these developers a fixed amount for their game to be placed on the PlayStation Plus incentive each month. I mean, how else can they do it? Based off this article, the game Velocity 2X was downloaded over 1 million times, which is fantastic. But this download ratio never turned into sales, it seems, which is why they've struggled and also been seemingly shunned by Sony, because at the end of the day, everyone wants that dollar bill, So if this fixed amount is indeed a thing, which I think it is, this amount must also vary depending on the game and the developer, because there is no way in hell that a company like, say, Capcom would allow their game to be given away for free on PlayStation Plus, whilst being paid the same amount as an indie developer's game that was placed on there as well. So something we most likely will never know is how much do Sony pay these developers. And judging by the responses of FutureLab, that amount is clearly not enough to make them not need the additional sales of the game itself to scrape by. So the narrow bridge they cross is one of game exposure, having a game in flashing lights for the month on PlayStation Plus, and then hoping that after that month is up, those million downloads for free later translate into actual sales. from both the people who still technically own it as part of their PlayStation Plus subscription, and from those who have not heard of the game and might buy it outright from Sony's store, where the developer actually gets money for each sale. The problem, of course, with this is that, like I said, anyone who has already downloaded a PlayStation Plus gets to keep it, as long as their PS Plus stays active. So why would they, in a sense, decide to actually purchase the game then? Unless they were really, really big fans of the game and the developer, and have the urge to give back, which, let's be honest, is a very small percentage of people. So you're left with the people who didn't download it, but saw it advertised and might later go and buy it. But as we know, this is where the sales part comes in. These digital stores always have sales, and you start getting that Steam mentality where most likely you will just wait for the game to go on sale before you buy it. And that wait then can be a long time, and made even worse by the fact that more games get released in between that time, making it less likely that you will finally go around to buying said title that's been on your watch list for months. Then another factor is the mentality of PS Plus in itself. Now, speaking from experience, I used to own PS Plus, and I know for the fact that you end up downloading more games than that you ever play, and I still have a wealth of unplayed PS Plus games to go through, and the truth of the matter is I probably will never touch them. This happens when you're simply just given too many games and don't have the time to even try most of them. So many of these games get lost in the backlog, whilst the developer is sitting there hoping you've at least tried it and will later buy it. It's certainly a risky business, especially for smaller developers trying to make a name for themselves. This happens on Steam all the time, as we know. So FutureLab have confirmed that they are bringing Velocity 2X to the Nintendo Switch, and even added that if you want to see a sequel to this game, it will need to sell on the Switch to first make money, of course, and second impress their current publisher, Curve Digital, to publish said sequel. Because overall, Velocity 2X reviewed very well, plays very well, and isn't exactly a trash indie title that can be easily written off. But going back to the Sony situation, and I mentioned Sony here, but this could technically apply to all publishers. If you promote and publish a new IP from an up-and-coming indie developer, in this example, see that the game reviews well, but unfortunately doesn't sell well because of various economic reasons, etc., do you feel that these publishers should, in some ways, be kind of obligated to publishing a sequel? To give that developer and his game series another chance? I ask this because, as we know, it can be rare and very difficult for any new game series to kick off unless it's truly doing something new or considered to be special, which can lead most of the time to the sequel getting noticed far more than the original game, where finally the series and developer can take off. As an example, look no further than the Witcher series, where hardly anyone I know played the original game, although I did. Some people played the sequel, and then finally nearly everyone played the third game, a game which arguably saved the series and the studio. I know some people would say that even the Order 1866, another Sony published title, could be given could do even better, or might be noticed more if a sequel was announced and pushed once more by Sony. You can even look at Bloodborne, a game which was many first people's entry into the Souls universe, because no one hardly bought Demon Souls, and now you might think if a new Demon Souls was made based off Bloodborne's reception, then the sequel could prove vastly more popular. I do feel that many publishers need to perhaps commit a lot more than just one failed outing. If you truly want things to persist and hopefully thrive. In my mind, you can't just give up straight away. Sometimes, and I must look at all angles in order to try and make something successful for both the developer and you as the publisher. But anyway, I think I've said enough on this. Velocity 2X is a good game, worth trying. I hope it finds success on the Nintendo Switch, which won't have a free to download avenue for this title, so it'll need to sell on its own merits on a system that is, currently looking like a haven for many indie developers looking for their moment in the spotlight. But like I said, I'm eager to know your thoughts on what I've said. The things about PS Plus, the fixed paid amount that you need to have, your game to be part of PS Plus. Games being downloaded but forgotten in the backlog of such services. The risk of using such services, and should publishers be somewhat obligated to further support smaller devs for both their own and the developers' benefits? A lot to talk about, I know, but any response would be greatly appreciated. And as always, like I always say, I'll respond to every single one of you. But yeah, once again, thanks for listening. Take care all. Peace.